Hello, everyone. Welcome back to KvltDeFi. This is the channel where we bring you the latest and greatest in innovations and tech in decentralized finance. What we really try to do is look for projects and teams, especially, that really exemplify what it means to be true DeFi. That's what kind of brought us into that Jacob ecosystem at the beginning. So really, we concentrate on projects that are mostly on Pulse Chain, and we concentrate on projects which are mostly from the Dev Jacob ecosystem. Everyone down there in the comments, I'll get to you all in a moment. What do you think? Let me know in the comment, what do you think of this new little banner I have here? I think we all get wrapped up so much in everything that happens with MAFIA at the moment that I think some people have maybe lost sight a little bit about one of the projects which I really believe is probably going to be, you know, well, now that MAFIA's come along and it's growing and growing, and it's turning into this, you know, this self-sustaining beast, really. Pulse Chain USD, the new algorithmic stablecoin that Jacob has plans for, is really, both of those projects really go hand in hand. And as really what I believe, two of the biggest, the biggest projects that are, that could be on Pulse Chain in general. And we have, you know, we have Jacob and team to thank for that. Let's get into the comments here. Just, I can see some people chatting away. Yeah, Hex tokens in the house. Superman, this game keeps getting better and better. I absolutely believe that. Allegiances now, which is what we're going to be talking about today, and a combined $250,000 in the vaults. That is absolute. It's bonkers, isn't it? Really, it's bonkers. It's growing and growing, growing so fast. It's unbelievable. Who else we got? We got Kool-Aid in the house. Yes, right on the bushy tail, because it is noon where I am. I wanted to try and mix up the streaming times a little bit, because I do know that we have a hell of a lot of people here that are on my sort of time frame, and they only get to really, you know, interact with me after the fact when I stream at night, because they'll be part of the replay gangs, and then they'll, you know, usually they'll have a hell of a lot of questions for me. So so if you're here now at this time, you know, welcome. I'm doing this for you guys. If this doesn't really work as I expect it to, then we can always, I mean, we'll be streaming at other times as well. It really just depends on everyone. I mean, I have to say, Kool-Aid's in the house now, and he is in, where is he? In Vegas, and God knows what time it is there. What time is it where you are? I'm guessing it would be about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Is that right? Kool-Aid saying to hello. Here we go. The two lads. Bring it, Ray. Yes, bring on PUSDxALGO. Honestly, for me, guys, it is absolutely one of those projects that we can't sleep on it. We really can't sleep on it. It has so much potential, so much potential. Actually, you can go and watch Superman discusses PUSDxALGO with Jacob on stream, and it is, you know, they go into a hell of a lot of detail. It will be something that I'll be bringing up in further streams as we go along. I really want to try and boost everything in the Jacob ecosystem. It's not just about one project or another project. So it'll be about doing all of these different projects, because really, once you understand all of the projects, and then you see Jacob's new projects like MAFIA now, you can see, oh, okay, he picked this bit from this project because it really worked and people really liked it, and now he's brought it in into MAFIA, and vice versa. You know, there's all these different parts, all these different little modules that he's, you know, proven time and time again work, and that he's good at, and he's already done it, and he's trying to mix them all together. I think if he keeps doing that, I mean, with MAFIA, the way MAFIA is going, and it's the way MAFIA is being built out, and, you know, I don't want to say the advantages that it has, because that's not really right, but I think that the groundwork, the skeleton, the framework of everything that he's building is it's taking everything up a little notch, you know. And I think he's really one of the devs to watch in the space. Absolutely. What else we got here? Thanks very much. Liking the banner. I like it too. I will do different ones as well for different projects, so I think it's cool. Mr. Rock, okay. Thanks very much for joining us. Got a lot of fire from Superman. Lie, it's never noon. 5 a.m. Yeah, 5 a.m. and it's 10 p.m. It's 5 a.m. in Vegas and it's 10 p.m. in New Zealand. Thanks for staying up late for us. Thanks for staying up. There we go. Okay. The one thing that I really want to, actually, I've got both of you on. Would you like to join the stream with me? The three of us can stream together if you have time. I think that'd be really cool to have you guys on. We could definitely talk about these allegiances. Kool-Aid, I've just dropped an invite link in there for you if you like it. And Superman, I'll have to send yours on Twitter. It's okay if you can't. It's just I thought it might be a nice idea. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Kool-Aid, you've got it in your DMs on Telegram. And Superman, you have got it. Oh, where did I put it? There. And you have got it on X. So it's totally up to you guys. Oh, hey, now I need to give massive shout out to the PulseTube. Okay, been a long time supporter, always around. Thanks very much. I really appreciate what you're doing. I love the fact that my videos automatically get put on your site. Really, thanks very much. Honestly, it's phenomenal stuff. We got, oh, I'm unwell. Oh, no worries, brother. No worries. We'll catch up again another time. But yeah, so the whole idea really of what we wanted to do today is to highlight the new allegiances. Okay. Now that I know that Kool-Aid is joining us, I won't go into it immediately. I'll wait for him. But what I will do then is show you what we have in terms of our protocol. Look at that juicy number. 4 billion PLS in the vault. I think it was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I streamed and I actually called it the 4 billion stream, and we didn't get there. We were 3.96. I think at the end of the stream it was 3.97. We were so close, but we didn't do it. But literally, we can say in the last 2 days we bumped that up. And I remember this. The price of the cash in the vault, I think, it was $165,000. Okay, and now we can see here it's 185, nearly 186,000. We all like what Pulse is doing. Pulse is ramping up. Look what we're doing, right? You can imagine now if Pulse does a 2 or 3x from here, we're blowing it out of the water. Absolutely. Sorry there for my language. You have to excuse me. If I do get a connection drop, I'll have to just rejoin, but we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. So who else have we got in here? Okay, tell you what, I'm going to reload that whole page. Yeah, so really 4 billion in the vault. We know that it was always supposed to be, once we get to 5 billion in the vault, then the game will be launching. But to be perfectly honest, I mean, I don't really think anyone expected we were going to hit the vault numbers this quick, this fast. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal stuff. What's going on? I'm extremely happy about everything that's happening. I mean, Jacob is very hard, working hard behind the scenes. There's a hell of a lot of stuff coming. We know that the next real big stage is going to be the map, right? We know that the map is, again, hugely important for what we need. It's kind of the one feature that I think everybody is waiting for, right? Everyone is really, sorry, change that to there. Yeah, everyone is really waiting for the map, because it's what's going to allow all these different teams and all these different families really to see where they are and what they stand for. Also, with these allegiances, when we go through it, we'll actually discuss it. I was reading about it earlier. It's going to be really cool that even if, as a family, even if you don't have a presence so much yourself in another city, that if you have an allegiance for someone who is in that city, it boosts your value, right? It boosts your value, and it gives you a place. It gives you it gives you a little bit extra influence over that territory. I think that in itself is phenomenal. Like, that was something that really, think about it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we had no idea about it. We didn't even know it was going to be an option, and now it's becoming a very important option. I think that's really good. Okay, just checking on these DMs. Sorry. Yeah. So I mean, look, 4 billion in the vault, 185. Well, basically 186,000. Here we go. Put it back to there. Active that one. Managing so many different. There we go. Come on, yeah. Okay, yeah. So we can say, look, 186,000. Again, we know that the vast majority of that is coming from the keys at the moment. We know that so it's $104,000 of the 185 is just because of the keys. I think that itself is it's interesting to know, because we thought after the business island, we thought, okay, are the keys going to sort of tail off a little bit now because people kind of have everything that they need? But then what did he do? He literally brought out, okay, now inside these keys there's going to be MAFIA token, which I believe we'll check in a second, but when I checked yesterday, there was 50 million MAFIA token available in the keys at the beginning. As of yesterday, it was 38, right? Who is this? Okay, yeah, there was 38, right? Still available. 38 million MAFIA. It's a hell of a lot of money. We'll have a look here at the market. Do you know what? I think when I do these streams in future, I'm going to not turn on my Telegram because I get distracted. People are actually asking me stuff as I'm going. Oh, Lawrence Rowland. Yes, look at you. Okay, what was I looking for? I was looking for something there a second ago. No, it wasn't the marketplace, was it? It was the crate tab. Now, so we can see, look, so there's 38. Can you see that? Yeah, there is 38.7 million MAFIA remaining inside these keys, right? Not only that, now you can actually get the OG NFTs also, but you can also get extra keys, right? We saw that Lit, My Life is Awesome, Lit Gains, Tashman. He was streaming the other day. I think he burnt through a bunch of, I think he did like 13 or 14 different keys. He got onto his last key, and in that last key, he got an extra 50 game keys. So he was able to keep going and keep going. Do you know what it did? It helped boost his family into the 5th position. I think they're taking up number 5 now. So if you are in a family, or if you're in one of the smaller families and you want to see what's happening, yeah, there we go. Look, the Hustlers, number 5. If you're in one of these smaller families, keys might be the secret to your success. That, along with these allegiances. Look, you can see here straight away. So we can see the Dawn, you can see, and the allegiance it has, right? So you can see the directorate, and they have no allegiance right now. No allegiance on the gearheads, Kool-Aid. What's happening there, brother? Oh my God, so many. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting DMs. I have to check them, just, you know. Yeah, so look, so we can see there's a few different allegiances going on. Actually, let's have a look here and see. So the Mugnows have no allegiance. The Hustlers are in the directorate, the Yakuza. Okay, so it looks like the Hustlers and the Syndicate have already formed their allegiance. So already getting going. That's a wise move. It makes sense. It certainly makes sense. I like it, right? Okay, so let's click on the family tab. So let's click on the Syndicate. And once that opens, we'll be able to have a look. So Kool-Aid, here you are. Let's see you. This is taking ages to open, and I don't know why. Yeah, okay, so with the Syndicate, we can have a look here. Look, you see, so allegiance, the directorate. So we can see here immediately. So that shows up. So now, even though this literally just went live, yesterday? Well, I mean, in the middle of the night, just a few hours ago. This went live, and what it enabled them to do immediately is join up with, for example, the hustlers. I'm guessing it's because they probably, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing it's because they discussed it beforehand, right? And they were just waiting for it to go. But now it ensures that those two are tied together and they share all their influence. I believe because the syndicate are headquartered in Chicago, and the Grand Clan are also headquartered in Chicago. I'm assuming that will also be an allegiance that's coming up. I mean, I could be wrong. But I don't think so. I don't think I am. So we'll just have one last little look, and then I will bring up. Then I'll bring up our special guest. The Grand Clan, yeah. So the Grand Clan have no allegiance right now. Yeah, I was right. So they're in Chicago, but I believe that is a conversation that happened beforehand. So watch this space. I think that will happen at any time, actually. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to bring up my buddy.
What's going on?
Hello.
Buddy? How are you?
I'm all right, man. I can, yeah. Hear you perfect.
Good.
Thanks very much. Hey, do you actually even sleep? Do you get sleep ever?
It depends. I've been building fucking rocks all night. Besides having 6 hours of phone calls and a whole bunch of nonsense. So I was still working, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay up for Colt's stream because I think he needs a buddy. So I'm here. Just kicking and jiving. That's what we do. Props out to Hex Token out in New Zealand. Good guy. We got Mr. Jockey, my dear friend. We got DYOR, my dear friend, the head of PulseTube. PulseTube, tune in. But yeah, I'm on the latter half of my night. But I figured I'd come keep you a little bit of company. I may be a little rough for wear on my 21-hour day, but we'll make it work.
No problem at all. I know, I really appreciate it. But what are your thoughts then on these allegiances? So it's pretty big, considering we didn't really know about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I did, but I mean, so like an allegiance is going to give, more importantly, the hierarchy of having networked tiles that allow attack and defense in between each ecosystem, which ideally is going to be networked back into an HQ. But that won't be released till we get to the map, because the map is going to give you 4 different paradigms. It's going to give you turns. It's going to give you actions. It's going to give you movement in and out. And it's going to show you what an in-game socket system looks like. And at that point, not only do we see, as I've explained on multiple different occasions, how random encounters, and it may not work necessarily how it works in 3D game dev, but a random encounter allows for a quest to be enacted, which is essentially a crime, if you will. Steal a car, rob a kindergarten, all of those theoretical things are going to be random encounters. Now, what's interesting on top of that is the witness tab that no one has talked about. So if you look at witnessing, what that probably means is that higher profile situations will work in higher profile aspects of the city. So if you are going to go rob a particular bank, that bank most likely will be in a higher tier version of a city, whereas a narcotics warehouse may be in a lower tier version of a city where it's easy to rob cars. Now, what would you do with those robbed cars? You would take them to a garage and you would crush them for bullets. Or, as you've already seen, you can race them. But realistically, the only 2 real vehicles of transportation are motorcycles and armored cars. That's what you really want to transport your characters in, not have them play in. 2 different identifications on how that all works. So if I'm looking at the one second, I was not prepared to come online, but only for you, KvltDeFi, can you summon me in real time. So the last paragraph, which says important, is actually the most important, because it says all gangsters who are within the same location as their family HQ now have increased defense and offensive value.
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple game of tower defense right there. If you're looking at the itemized use case on how those nodes work together. But it says that all allegiances within this increased defensive or offensive region now extend to all cities which allegiances partners are headquartered.
Headquarters, yeah.
Now, the headquarters has not theoretically been defined. Theoretically, Jacob insinuated there's a possibility for, houses to move. So I can't stress this enough. This game is early access, which means it's a living wiki, but it has intrinsic value. Even at this exact level, it has intrinsic value. Understanding how bullet factories create inflation of a token, which then gets depleted by spent, has intrinsic value. Understanding that a hospital actually has low yield based on its token importance until things go to war, has an intrinsic value. And the same thing with keys on how all that works together. This is a living wiki. And again, I am not core. I do not work on this game. I just happen to be a game dev. Anything in this wiki can change at any time based on a protocol first momentum, which is actually the most important thing. Like, you want the game to work well. That's why in game dev, we have something called a day one patch, which means, oh God, we had to get it out the door because parent company said so. But we still have more work to do. So that's the one thing that looking at these, launch phases, which is what I would call milestones or sprints. And we look at how that's moving forward. It's very, very, very interesting to see what will be inserted into this, what will be redacted, and what will be refined. Because businesses have completely changed now to keys now, haven't they? Yeah. And we've also known that shop-based assets will not be in the store at post-launch. So what does that mean for narcotic? Well, let's call it just shops in general, right? Because shops where you buy guns, but there's only 3 guns that you can buy: Tommy gun, handgun, and shotgun, I believe. Even though the wiki gives you the insinuation that there's 4. If you look at the vehicles, you see a Humvee there. There's all sorts of things that can happen in real time, didactically and haptically, to make this game work. And that's why it's bloody exciting.
Yeah, it really is exciting. I mean, like exactly what you say. I think the flexibility that Jacob has, especially at this early stage, it's hands down probably one of the most important features, right? Because even every time I'm talking to him, we'll be going through the wiki, and he'll say, "Oh, do you know what? Oh, I've just had an idea." And then a few days later, it gets announced that there's another idea, So, and one of the things which Jacob has been very strong on since the very beginning, since the very first project, he listens to the community. He does.
Sure. As you should.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He listens to the community. He listens to people like you, because obviously your stuff on the game dev side. I know that he listens to the heads of the different families. If there's a feature that they kind of want implemented, then guess what? It'll appear. And I think if he keeps doing that, and if he keeps that mindset and he keeps doing that, I mean, who knows where this can go, right? It's gone very quickly, like you were saying when we spoke previously on a different stream. It's gone very much from a pen and paper sort of game. Rolling the dice, like you say, and it's finding it's finding its own legs now.
Sure, and that's the most important thing. Like, everything in entertainment gets, as Giff would say, painted into a corner, and we as developers get painted into the corner by our leadership. And because it's a nimble product working on a novel idea on a model use case, that's a modal way to actually execute. And again, this is why I find it exciting. And that's why, like, when I come into the community, I'm a game dev first, a spectator player second, right? I am here to help, as all game devs do, for us and our ilk, right? We're a very, very, very tiny minutia of people that deal with these things. And so we care about actually bringing change to our ecosystem, to our identity, to what we actually want to build and see, to make it that those of us that do this can continue on and not go and suffer in silence and go down the drain which happens when a parent company buys you, or what happens when corporate greed comes in. And this is why play and earn is the most important part, because it's an intrinsic value on where this is going to go in a year. Basically, this game is interactive staking, if you will. So you can take a minimalistic value and approach and monetary value to get in and play. I mean, ideally, if you don't do anything wrong, theoretically, why is someone going to cap you in the head? But if you go to the hierarchies, right, to go to the major leagues, to go to the varsity teams, to all the rest of it, there's more higher stakes, which means there's more higher plays to be gained, which means that you have to play more on a hierarchy on how it all comes together. And that's fascinating, because that's what real GameFi is about, wrapping decentralized finance in something that's entertaining. SocialFi is going to be the next level up, and that's what we're trying to help with on our side. But like, ideally, we just want to help get everything so the runway is clean and green to get this out, because it will set the stage on what real protocols can do on Pulse Chain and then evolve into later. And that's the beautiful thing about being nimble.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, 100. And so, like, again, the alliance thing is great, but it's still in working model form. But we can already see exactly what I said before about tiling socketed movements and mechanics based onto the map. That's what the alliance's most important thing, which is in the last paragraph down. And so this allows, again, the very, very last line, this allows members of family to travel around without losing power. But guess what that also means? Smuggling, crimes, arbitrage in between different areas of the country will be defined between those trade routes. It's really simple if you start to like rope it back again to that pen and paper game, to really make it simple, right? Because it is a simple game with a grand concept. That's good. Not make a grand game and a grand concept at the same time. That won't execute, right? And so that's really the difference between the two.
Yeah. So it doesn't say anywhere in the wiki about individual players, right? So this right now, Allegiances is just about families helping out other families, joining other families, really for to control territory, right? It's really to control territories and make sure that and make sure that the smaller families don't get chewed up and spat out in the very beginning. But it doesn't say anything about individual players, right? We've seen that there are some individual players who are not particularly in families. They have, they have a huge worth in the game. They have a huge inventory themselves. And not to say that they won't start another family in the future themselves, but what would you think? I mean, would it make sense to allow these allegiances to go out to individual players too? So that a family could target an individual person and then take that person on board?
Well, first you have to look at the hierarchy and how that would work, right? So if a detective station was necessary for a region, that means it wouldn't be detectiving outside of that region, right?
Yeah.
So if you were a rogue player, how would you even know what detective agency to start to find? Now, if they don't even have a home base, how would you even know where to look? That's a needle in a haystack. There is another game dev named Larry from Hexaco. He's my other counterpart that runs around. He's playing rogue in this game. He has not told me what his character is. He wants to have the pure rogue, like no family experience. And again, he's a proper game dev. Jesus, like 6-7 years my senior in the industry. So he's running around right now. Has not told me who he is. He wants to see what happens with this roguelike experience as a needle in a haystack, which is kind of fascinating on the other side. Like if I didn't have so much other stuff to do, I may do that, but I just don't.
Yeah.
Right. In between experience review, day job, all the rest of the gift tech stuff, I don't have the time. But it is a fascinating correlation on how you can play the game. Because if a detective agency only can swipe and spot a region, it's like how long it took to find the Titanic in the ocean, right?
So I mean, that's exactly the kind of I have a few different profiles. I've made up a few different profiles just because I was doing like tutorials and stuff like that. So I had to show people literally how to create characters.
What's your favorite profile though?
Sorry?
What's your favorite profile name?
I'm not going to tell you.
I know.
My favorite profile name
Yeah.
You already know it. You already know it. But no,
I do.
that has to be kept under wraps.
I heard nothing.
Purely for that same reason.
Sure. No. Well, that's the beautiful. But
yeah, so I have to be able to. Even though I'm not joining a family because I am this neutral territory, obviously I want to play the game. I want to see how the game works, and understand all that. So that's it. So I have a few different characters that are in there. Some of them are, just on the wayside, they're doing nothing.
But Irish accent. Some of them have a fantastic Irish accent.
Yeah, some of them have an accent. Some of them have a bit of a story in the game, if you like, as the the mediator, the neutral party. Some of them have quite a high net worth, just because I really want to see how that plays into the gameplay further along the line. And then I just have a few, so okay, I'm even thinking literally I can target myself, kill myself, because I ultimately want to know what it's like to be killed and what it is like to kill a character in this game. I have to I have to know all these things. And so from my point, sitting on the sidelines, effectively sitting on the fringes, just watching what's going on.
Absolutely.
I think these allegiances really can be built out to something really, really cool as we start to get move forward. Because right now we're starting to see, yes, families are starting to gang up. I mean, effectively that's what they're doing, right? They're starting to gang up so they can take control of further territories and increase their own power and increase the power of their areas, all this kind of thing. But when it starts to drill down from there, so obviously it's going to be the stronger families want to have allegiance with some of the smaller families for territory. The smaller families want to align with the bigger families for protection, basically for protection, and hopefully to get some access to that vault money if it's decided that that they're pulling their weight.
Interactive staking, right? Interactive staking. So you can still play the game and still make monetary yield, committing crimes, doing all the rest of that. And just a hint for yourself: if you're playing as a rogue, if you're a Plus member, how does anyone know who you are? You could just be a bum, or you could be the richest person in the world, wander around next to you, mugging old ladies. Doesn't matter, right? But will someone take the risk to try to shoot you when they can't see your inventory when you could have a level 10 Sam? I haven't seen a level 10 attack guy yet. I've only seen level 7s in the game. I do believe. But yeah, it's like, what's the risk if you don't understand like who you're running next to, carjacking with, who they are, if they're anonymous. Now, if you're known from a family, that's the whole point, is to be a known person, to be a made man. But you still have the rogue aspect that you can go play and get a completely different cross-section of the entire game all at the same time. And that's actually pretty fascinating to look at it as a lion's share of its own whole, right?
Yeah, so I'm looking here at the bodyguards now. So we've got the level 10s. So we've got the Johnnies are the connections. The level 10 Jims are the economy. The Sams are the offensive, and the Frank are the defensive.
Sure. So the defensive, then, I don't think I've seen a level 10 Johnny. I think I've only seen level 10 Sams, to be honest. Which, if you really think about it, why don't you queue up the marketplace and see if you can find one?
I will do that right now.
I'm pretty sure I have not seen. Oh no, I do see one right there. Level 10 Frank. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a hell of a lot of level 7s. So looking at level 10 Frank, there's only been one bot in the entire game. If you look at go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, I'm going.
And by the way, you're doing fantastically to streaming. I give you a little poke every now and then. Feel like you're doing camera cuts, moving stuff around.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But really, I think Telegram is becoming the bit of the bane because just because people are just messing me all the time, even if it's something quite simple.
Sure.
And it can get a little bit annoying. But okay, so let's search by So by bodyguards. Here we go.
Yep, and then click a Frank. Sam's are easy. Scroll down.
Yeah, so Franks are. We saw that Franks are the offensive.
No, I think Sam's are the.
Sorry, Sam is the offensive. Yeah.
So click the Frank. Level 10 Frank. Up. There you go. Nope, one more down. There you go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, so there's been one Yeah,
Now
only
scroll
one
down. Yeah,
sold.
there's one in the market. It's not showing you. There you go. One in the market, one been sold. That's it. Like I said, I haven't been looking. I really don't have the time to pay attention to it all because I kind of know what's going to happen in my head. You know, yeah, I'm cheating. It's been 18 years of this nonsense. But that is correct. There are 2 on the market right now. What that means is that the crates are curating at a different rate and level based on what is happening as the game rolls into early access, right? So we can see this based on the etymology and the ecology of what is being released into the game in real time.
So what do you think the reasons for that are then?
Well, hold on, let's search bodyguard just one more time because I just want to read it. Bodyguard. Well, if everyone has an offensive strike that can hit a level 10, right? And that's 10 notes or notches. We can see that by its cooldown rank of 120 minutes. So 120 minutes times 120 times 10. It's going to give you 120 minutes to do that divided by 60. That's going to be 20 hours to refuel that particular offensive opponent. But since the defensive opponent just got released, now those are the ones you need to really be looking at to defend against. Now, we haven't heard how different socketing of turns or actions work. Again, this is all going to come on the map. At least my gut check. Like, I am not Jacob's team. I'm just the spectator from the side. That will give you a very different interest pool onto what the cooldowns are going to be. Because there's already a cooldown chart on what you can do with crime, smuggling. We can see that I even think it's 120 minutes per attack that you could do. So we can see how these things stack up together, just like smooshing transactions into a block, all the same way.
Interesting. It is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I want to touch on transport a bit, okay? Because I don't think a lot of people really understand because we can see here. Look, in transport, we've got a Humvee, right? A Humvee's motorcycle, armored car, and we've got a Humvee, okay?
And there's 3 planes, but yet there's one in game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we've got the Douglas, which is available, really, but then there are another 2. Also, trains, right? Trains are in here, but trains are so. How do you think trains are going to work? So, is it going to be like you have to purchase a ticket, so you have to buy?
Yes,
your way across.
Be a publicly identified person in that area, which means the detective will be able to spot you out. Which means that you have to go to a centralized location. Which means that you also have a centralized destination along a particular line of travel, if you will. So, like in the U.S., we have the US 1 that goes from California all the way up to Seattle, and you can take a train ride. And it's pretty. You can get like a comfort car. You and a lady can have dinner and just watch the country go by. But guess what? There's stops. And if you're a known asset, those are known locations. And there is one more besides train. Oh, jets. There's jet travel as well. Right. And that is not a private plane, right? A private plane is just like going to a private airport. That means, thank you, Mr. Mafia person, sir. Whatever, you get on your plane, off you go. You're not tracked. If you're looking at public transport, yes, you can get your character to somewhere else if you don't own transportation to take you there, like a private plane. Now, transport itself with a motorcycle, zip, zip, fast. But it's not showing up in this analysis, where an armored car gives you more defense, same attack. But I do believe possibly the motorcycle may be faster. Now, granted, I'm reading into this, but we don't know yet because the map should give the 4 things, like I said: socketed tile information, movement, and then turn and action, all within the same ecosystem, right? Because you have a particular amount of turns you can do per action, and action be considered a block. So what can you do per block And what can you do as a response per block, whether that's having helpers, have buddies come after you, or let's just say you have an entourage. So
Yeah.
if someone does a hit at you and you're one guy and you're sitting in a flock of 6 people, are you saying that they can immediately get through all, not just your defenses, but all of your buddies around, and there won't be a retaliatory action, right? Only way that you could do that would be with a sniper rifle. And we don't have that in the game. You can just spray and pray with a Tommy gun, right? The most bullet using weapon that we have.
So hang on, I'll just click on weapons here now.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right, because the Thompson is basically the one that uses the bullets, and then we still don't actually know. Look, it even says here we still don't know the attack value of the Molotovs and the grenades. Remember,
I already point those out. Those are area of attack weapons, or point break, or point. Jesus Christ, why can I not talk right now? Physical based area of effects. So PBAs. So what that means is, like, do you really use a Molotov cocktail on a crowd of people? No, you do not. You use it on a building. You throw it in through a window.
A shot.
Right?
Yeah.
You throw it in through a window. Or a car, right? That's the difference, is you would use something like that on a car, because now you're using an accelerant on a vehicle or an object in space, right? Not a player. Whereas a frag grenade, you throw a grenade at a person. You can throw it at a building too, but I mean, when you throw a Molotov cocktail, you're trying to set the building on fire to create chaos. You're not really throwing Molotov cocktail to not create chaos. Whereas a grenade, you're throwing it at a pinch point to create deviation, that people move out of cover, or all the rest of that stuff, right? So that's why those attack values are not ready yet, because they probably haven't been sussed out in the simulation, which is perfectly fair in my mind. I mean, doesn't bother me in the slightest. But what's interesting is, if you think about what's going to happen in the shop, but there's only 3 guns that require bullets. Well, I have a feeling that there's going to be more guns that are going to be available in the shop later.
Well, I mean, we can see here there's 4, right? So we got a handgun. So you got your Colt, you got a Smith and Wesson, you got your Remington, and your Tommy gun.
Sure.
Yeah. So we got 4 with bullets. 4 that use bullets. Should we say?
Isn't actually in the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. That's another thing. It's not in the game yet.
It's a living wiki. Remember, this is early access. It's really, really, really simple to think about it like this. You are playing the future of what is going to happen, and everything that happens in the wiki can change at any time, and that is fair. This is exactly what early access means.
It's great. And yeah, we recently, just for anyone that doesn't know, we recently saw Player Plus. So Player Plus and Family Plus, basically a subscription model. Doing things like, hiding your inventory, as we discussed a few minutes ago. For me personally, as a rogue player in this game, yes, it's hugely important. Right?
Well, because the most important thing is the page per clicks, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the pay per click, that's also very good.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be competing in a let's just say an auction, then just refreshing your page uses your page per clicks, right?
Yeah.
Using a filter uses your page per clicks. So anything that has to do with any of the rest of that, kill simulator, added benefit, ad free nonsense, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, realistically, it's being able to use a website without lag, or without, whoa, Mafia man, too many clicks per user, like be a premium member. But I mean, Hulu does the same damn thing, right? You can buy the most basic level of Hulu and still have ads. You have to buy the second tier of Hulu to actually get ad free.
Yeah, there's so many things. I mean, this game really, it's building up to be an absolute beast.
Sure. So
like a real beast.
Let me drill you in. What do you think the honor points are going to do?
Oh, I don't know. Do you know, when we were on the stream the other day?
Come on.
No, when we were on stream the other day, it was, I actually had I had the wiki open, and I was looking at that page when we had Jacob on stream.
Yeah, I know.
But then the stream, but then we decided to stop the stream.
I know. Jacob's got to. I got to be careful, because like Jacob and I can run forever, and we got to be careful what we share, because I'm trying to be his game dev, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm here to help. But Jacob and I can run forever just on theory. Because this is what this is all about. It's about playing chess before anyone else has moved a piece, and understanding why these things work together. That's incredibly fascinating.
Yeah. So do you think then the honor points are literally going to be something that boosts the player's worth, or is it going to be something physical that you can actually trade? So in other words, here's a bonus for being a good boy, that sort of thing.
It depends. You asked me the question: could someone be allianced without being in a family?
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. So yes. So it's a way to give people bonuses.
Or
because it says here,
or fast passes, or being able to let's say give someone 2 pence to get across the river Styx, right? You could, if you had an alliance between 2 cities and you were doing a smuggling operation, which was well established in between a trade route, give someone points so they can get across based on a favor, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So that's one way to interpret it. I could make a synopsis on tons of different things. The ability to buy discounted bullets, be able to do some other thing that would normally cost intrinsic value based on what they do to set up the local economy and ecology based on per city and per network that's itemized to per city, right? So those are all, again, we'll see at the map. I think that's going to be oh God, let's see what the roadmap says. Map, trade ups, pre-ranking, communication. Man, communication keeps getting knocked down the list, and I like that. I'd actually like to see a few more things come online to the roadmap, to be fair, because I love this. I think everything that's happening is componently being done well, very professionally well. And that's why I'm excited to see more slits in the armor being created to allow it to grow more, right? It's like getting good kindling to make good fire, right? Good fire means that you can build good metal. Good metal means that you can build good armor, right? So all these things kind of fold on top of each other and how they're used. I would say, if I had to, do I want to give any info? I don't know if I do. I got to keep something for the family, but let's see. Let us see. Market. There are no keys for sale. That means there's going to be an influx in keys in game soon enough, outside of just rolling. In fact, I would say that theoretically, based on keys being a action mechanic to accentuate movement, turns, helpers, crates, all the rest of that, that keys may be something that you earn more from crimes than not. Because it has to. Because that's how the mechanics require the fuel to work. And this is what you really think about when you're actually like a real dev. Is how do you break a system? How do you make a system? And then what is the best path through? Or if you really want to spend $500 a month, you can buy something called a machination. And machinations, how professional game devs run all these simulations in real time. So I think it's interesting. But I also think there's going to be a huge refactor in the economy. And all that shit I'm bloody excited to see. Because it's early access, you can do all the rest of that and do it for a protocol first based movement, which is key. Otherwise, you're painting yourself into a corner, and you would never want to do that, especially with something as simple and as complex as what's being developed right here, right? There's no GPU rendering. We're not dealing with hit effects. We're not dealing with, vectors of multiplayers. All the things that we have to do with a Fortnite or a multiplayer game or a first-person shooter, all the rest of that. We're dealing now with complexities of mechanics in the most simplistic way as possible. What's going on, Go Positive?
That's cool. Yes, anyone out there, if you haven't already, hit the like button, share this. This was supposed to be streamed simultaneously on X, just to let everyone know. But I changed my profile picture on X about an hour ago, and apparently they have to review it, so they take away your blue check mark until it's been reviewed. I mean, I'm
That's right.
changing it to. I'm changing it to. Yeah, I'm changing it to that. You know, just a normal MAFIA logo. That's it.
Well, I mean, you paid for that too, right? And they took away your rights. If you paid more money, you would be fast tracked.
So there you go. But yeah, so I think that's actually quite silly. And now StreamYard won't let me stream onto there until I don't know, until X does what they're supposed to do, I guess.
Sure.
So yeah, don't worry about that.
I figured out how to get a good audio interface to move over to Twitch and Twitter and all the rest of that. So we'll recap offline. But I think I figured out a better way to do that, so it actually works.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your questions though? Like right now? So
right. So really, it's for me the sticking points for me as not really a player of these types of games, right?
Sure.
You know, obviously because I'm not again in any family, so I'm just a rogue player running around the place. I'm not worried about now that I have Player Plus on some of my important, you know, the important profiles, right? So no one can really see my inventory, so I'm not really bothered by that anymore. So if you were a smaller player, just running around doing your thing, you won't really get noticed by a lot of the big families, right? Unless you have like huge bags, right?
Well, they wouldn't know that if you had an inventory.
Yeah, well, if you have a hidden inventory, right? But for the smaller players who maybe don't have Player Plus, for a smaller player, you know, they might have a couple of guns, a bit of cash, and they're, you know, just going to be running around. And their ultimate goal is just to do some of these smaller heists through the RNG that they have a pretty decent, successful chance. You know, maybe they want to rob a kindergarten every day.
Sure,
that's it. You know, the rewards that they will be getting then, right? So they're either going to be rewarded with in-game cash. In the future, they might be rewarded with things like extra bullets, or maybe with extra health, or maybe even the Rat Mafia token or the keys inside the game. Okay. Jacob has said that there's, you know, upwards of like maybe 50 different ways that they can earn. Sure. So as the game starts moving forward,
if you've never heard of the term before, look up StarCraft, Elden Ring, any game that has a progression ratio. It's called a tech tree. And so you're going to be looking at like how a tech tree evolves due to different input points that are going to allow you to earn, level up, skill up, create. I mean, shit, if you look at the creation of a family, you have to be a level 6 person or a chief to be able to create a family at Game On, which means that you have to level up on the streets to do that at Game Live.
Yeah, that's another very important point as well. I think a lot of people are sort of thinking, okay, I'll just go in and I can immediately just be, you know, in control of all of this. So if, for example, you die, if you're a Don, you die, you're, you know, the killer becomes the Don of your family, effectively, at that stage. And you really have to sort of start all over again. It does make sense to have, you know, various profiles under various strengths. It sort of got touched on the stream that we did with Jacob and GIF. That it would make sense to have a defensive profile, an offensive profile.
Sure. In
the case that, you know, you need quick access to a bodyguard while you're doing, you know, or while you're going through a cooldown or something like that, you know.
Think about like skins, the loadouts, right?
Yeah.
You want different loadouts that I'll be able to do. So Steven just asked a few questions if you want to pull those up. And
Here we go. Hi, KvltD. I really enjoyed hearing your analysis and expert in the field. How can we get a wider adoption for this game? It would seem too complex for new people. Okay, before you jump into the technical side of stuff, before you do that, one of the reasons that I clip a lot of these streams is that literally people can go to my channel and you say, okay, what do bullets do? Go to the channel and you got someone explaining that, you know, in other words, you got KvltD or me or Jacob himself or any of the other guys that are streaming out there. It's just a quick way to get quick information. A way that we can really get this game out there really is just to engage more of the community. Sooner rather than later would be good, but this game is going to be something which Jacob has a plan for. It goes on for years because people are, you know, families are going to come and go, players are going to come and go. So really having some sort of like an inventory database of user player information, that's kind of what's going to get us there. Okay, now you can go into the tech stuff.
And well, I mean, it's multi-threaded, right? So those that don't know, besides Gift Tech and all the rest of we do, we have FanForge.xyz. And so what we're doing is we're trying to bind real entertainment. Like we've got a video game, We've got an audio drama from Paul Lamone. We've got a comic from Black Salt. We've got all this stuff, and we're binding Hollywood and game dev to Pulse Chain in a simplistic way for us audio dramas, right? And what is this right here? This is a simplistic way to create decentralized finance wrapped in a game.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do is make Pulse Chain the pinnacle place for GameFi, SocialFi, and putting more onto what you can do with your layer one. Not silly stuff. Silly stuff's great. Go make your meme tokens, go do all the rest of the stuff. But this is sticky. And technically it's transferable. And more importantly, besides just play and earn, when you are paid to be entertained, you have pure market fit, not product market fit. There are I'm clearly hugely passionate about this particular arena because there are a lot of game devs, film people, and others that want to have yield, digital rights management, the ability to create and go forward. And Pulse Mafia is the first platinum star I have seen that executes on this vision. Now, on our side, we're trying to toe the line on all of this, hence why I'm here, and hence why I care a lot about it. So we can do many things to get eyes on it. First and foremost is talking about it. That's why Colt can summon me at any time he wants. Like, he can literally ring up my phone whenever he needs to be like, get on the damn stream. I'm like, fuck, I only got an hour of sleep. Fine, here we go. But I think it's important to not just talk about just what Mafia do, what Jacob's doing, because he's doing literally salute top of the hat work across the board. But it sets the stage for everyone else to understand why this is important. Mm-hmm. Like I always said from way back in the Hex days, we don't tell people what to buy, we teach you why. And that is the most important idiom on understanding this type of stuff. So not just talking about it here, but eventually on FanFort stuff, I'd like to get on some games with some other game devs. So we talk about why GameFi is important and then wrap it back into this kind of stuff, especially from like the FanFort side, because we're going to have some really interesting IPs that may be very interested on what's going on over here. And now we're getting multiple different lenses, both outside our ecosystem and inside our ecosystem. Because that's the one problem. With Pulse Chain right now, we have an issue of everyone being segregated to their own bags and their own worth as they ping pong around, instead of understanding the sub hierarchy of the economy of what's going on. So for example, if somebody dumps Mafia, does that affect the cost of a business? Does that affect bullets? Does that affect anything? Maybe a little bit, but not really that much. Mm-hmm. Everything goes back to the tax man, right? On that 16% tax. It bolsters that in-game economy. And it allows some other people to scoop up some Mafia and stake that to rebuild back in that in-game economy. It's a good balancing loop. And so in game dev, you have a balancing loop and a reinforcement loop. And those two work in tandem. So how do we take this to the next level? It has to do with how do we get people engaged in not looking at a 5-minute chart, but spending a 5-hour time with their character. Binding finances, or like the social fi aspect of my character is mine and I want it to grow, right? I saw your snippet from earlier today where I was heckling you about what was it called? A roguelike instead of one life. Yeah. I think making it where that character is permadead is perfect. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Because what it does is it gives that character a hierarchy. It gives them a story. Storytelling is the most important part of game dev, of film, of writing a book, being a narrator, creating a story. It's about you attaching yourself to that story. And that is what we're actually being able to do, but also payout yield. Mm-hmm. So I wonder what happens when advert and all the rest of that stuff comes around. Like there's very, very interesting ways you can scale this metric into the future and have more meat and potatoes. Let me read what we got here.
No, I was just saying that could you have like a starter pack for new people, you know? So like you open your character and then maybe you have a little goodie bag with inventory just to help you get started. You have a few bullets, you have all the rest of it. I can say that some of the families are doing that. There are some families out there that I know. Yeah, if you join a family, they'll help you out to help you boost your inventory immediately because it helps you really rank up your character. So that is something. So if there's anyone out there that thinking about joining families, it's not really just what you can bring to the family, it's what the family can bring to you also, right? Make sure you do your homework when you're discussing with families because some offer more than others.
Yeah, it's bilateral. But that's not actually a horrible point, right? Let's correlate to Magic the Gathering, right? Which if you know my history, my second job, the executive head of the second company I worked on is the current VP for Magic the Gathering, well, Wizard of the Coast. So when you look at a starter pack, you may get an entire deck of mana, or you could get a Black Lotus, right? And then everything else doesn't even matter. Fuck all the other cards. I got one Black Lotus. I got a business. I got 50 keys. I won, right? I won that card of draw. There could be a way for that to come down later, but again, that's not really the most critical thing to be worrying about right now. When you can just buy a key, and you can, well, I mean, technically keys aren't really available right now, but that's why I'm kind of saying that there is going to be a refactor, at least in my gut. I'm clearly, again, not game dev advice, not on core, but I can give you a gut check on how I see this evolving, and I can't tell you how happy I am about it. Like, it's so good on how I see it taking the time to evolve naturally, correctly, and course correct. Like, all of these are very important things that I've seen messed up at the multi-$100 million level. And so the starter pack would just be create a character, get to know a family, get to know what they're about. And then from there, you can build into that metric. Now you can buy the values, but I mean, Colt, can you bring up the market chart or the market store
marketplace
and show the difference on how in real time you can look at what prices are? We kind of touched on it with Frank, but where the Frank was interesting is because I've never seen one before, a level 10 Frank. And on my call, there's two of them in real time, right? So like there's literally two that has ever existed right now. But let's do something silly, like grab a bullet, right? Something silly, or a car, or just anything random. That's pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going bullets. Okay. So we can see here. Wow, 20,000 bullets are up for sale for $240.
Sure. So let's just
again to steal.
Well, it depends, because you can make bullets many other ways. If you have a car crusher and you're stealing, and that car crusher is aligned in your city, now you're getting 100% of those bullets that come out of that refactor. Whereas if that car crusher is in a different city, you're getting 50% yield or 75% yield within the same country. So just go ahead and click on one so we can take a look at the Venn diagram.
I'll click on one of the smaller ones. The smaller ones have probably been sold more.
Sure. Either way works. Because bullets are actually a tokenized asset, they're a little bit easier to understand and track. Versus everything else is theoretically speculation on what's going to happen later if they understand how the game's going to be played. And if it's loading,
wow, look at it's loading right now. Wow.
No, it's okay. Do a shift F5, and then
it's that time of day where I think everyone
this is
everyone in the house is
this is update time for them. 100%. This is work clock.
Oh, there we go. So look at this chart here.
Sure. Wow. So look at the way your screen's being displayed. You're missing all the goody stuff. So scroll down a little bit more, sir. A little bit more.
I don't know what the heck is happening here. I'm able to see it. It's lagging.
Just scroll your screen down about 40% more, Cold. There we go. Actually, if you do a control mouse wheel out, it seems like you're zoomed in at the moment.
I am actually zoomed in. I've done that basically.
Yeah, so we want you to zoom out. There we go. Beauty. So if you can see what's going on now, we can actually look at what an itemized dollar value is for everything that's being listed. So we can see that everything before has been for $4.75. Those people selling for 8 for fixed clearly are silly. And then can you go hard to the right and scroll down on the complete and expired? We're going to see a physical number on who has paid for what. Now, granted, in the beginning, nobody knew who did what, or it was expired and all the rest of that. But what we can do, scroll right back to the very top where we get to see the graph. So bring your screen up a little bit.
I have actually. I'm waiting for it to catch up.
No, you're doing a fantastic job, sir. And so, like, this is what's fascinating. You can look at all these crazy dexes, but you're not going to see this type of in-game asset to a paradigm, to a localized resource in a damn game in real time, in early access. It's bloody beautiful. And you can see 79 completed, 10 expired. You can go and itemize and look at what that chart history is. And it doesn't need to be scraped, right? It's here. It's on-chain physical data. And we're going to see how this rolls more and more together at the same time. So it's pretty damn fascinating to see this being happened in real time. Let's see what Steven says. A great new business could be a resort. So the resort will probably be the HQ, right? And then multiple resorts all over the world. So all of those is what I would consider DLC or expansion. There's no need to get into that right now. It will become apparent when the time is right to make it apparent. There's no real need to rush. I kind of had to saber rattle the room the other day because people are talking about not being able to transfer BNB to Pulse and Pulse to BNB and all the rest of this stuff. And I'm like, you guys are asking for feature creep. Don't do that. That's how you break everything. Feature creep is bad. You have to tactically look at where your team is spending their time, their resources, and more important, their machinations. Machinations are how you're running your simulations and making the work together. If you're skipping on that to try to cultivate, no pun to you, but like cultivate something that's not applicable at the exact right in time, you're breaking the system. You're that dumbass driving the drunk driver in the wrong direction. So like having these things be componently released and being sticky and understood as it's being developed in real time, I couldn't be happier about the whole damn thing. But I think it's fascinating to watch that, yeah, starter packs could be available. Expansions could be available. Club Med could be available. I mean, technically, Club Med is the timeout room, right? The safety room that you have. That is theoretically Club Med. But who knows? Maybe if you get a particular amount of prestige award, you can kick your heels off and go on vacation and not have a floor be lava where you could be attacked. Could this be feasible in a DLC? You're goddamn right that could. The question is, where are we going and where do we go after we build the bedrock of the primary foundation? Give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back, Colt.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. Yeah, guys. So hey, we can see here that there is a hell of a lot of stuff going on. I'm personally really, extremely happy with all of this. It's very interesting now that we've gone through the wiki a little bit with Kool-Aid. These honor points. It was something that I wanted to bring up on stream when we were talking with Jacob, Kool-Aid, and Gifford before, but we just didn't get time. We didn't. Well, it's not that we ran out of time. It's just the stream was coming to an end anyway because, like we all say, there's no point in spilling the beans all the time now. But I really just wanted to do this stream today, really, because Allegiances went live, and I wanted to discuss that because I think it's so important, especially for a player like me who is not in the family. I get asked to join families all the time. I think at this stage I've been offered a place in nearly every family. I won't do it. I won't do it because I want to, number one, I'm here to boost up everyone, the entire ecosystem. I'm here to boost all Jacob's projects, really. And also I want to play the game as a role player, as a single character. I want to understand the, how everything works. At a later stage, maybe, because this game literally is built to go on and on and on. So it might be a thing that maybe in the future I join a family, or maybe even create a family, who knows? We'll have to wait and see how this goes. But for now, it's about really understanding how the game works. Anyone that's new, like Stephen, you were saying, anyone that's new, or anyone that you haven't created a character yet, look, it costs you 2,000 MAFIA, which really on Post is on Post chain it's $3 maybe. On the Binance Smart chain is maybe $1, maybe 80 cents, maybe $1. Look, just create a character. Have a look around. Jump into the Telegrams. Look, the Telegrams are down here, guys. Jump into the Telegrams. Ask questions. I still see people in the Telegrams now that they join and they say, okay, look, I want to join a family. How can I do it? Simply by doing a little bit of scrolling in the Telegrams, you'll see a lot of the families are doing really active recruitment. Some of them have automated posts. I think the syndicate has an automated post that jumps up, I think it's every 15 or 20 minutes or something, that literally will tell you how you can join the syndicate. I know a lot of the other guys are literally just in there actively. If they see a new player asking questions, they'll engage with them and they will literally say, look, hey, have a look around. If you feel like, speaking in, to a family, reach out to me, hit me up in DMs. You can really do that too. If you want to go a little bit more in depth, okay, so you've created your character, you don't have a family, or even if you do have a family, start looking at purchasing these keys, right? Get your keys. Once you have your keys, you can open up these crates and you can really build your inventory. So you're building your player worth, right? If it's a thing that you want to join a family, but you want to maybe discuss getting a decent payout from the vault every week when the vault payouts come out, you have to offer something to them. It's not just about what they can give you, okay? If it's a thing that you have, if you want to have a good character, you want to maybe get one of these good, decent payouts from the vault every week through having a family or through being in a family, you're going to have to offer something to them. I know that some of the families, they ask for joining fees and leaving fees, right? They might say, okay, help to boost the family in general by giving us some money so they can put into the family vault, because we know that the family bank, we know that by staking MAFIA in the family bank, that you will get auto compounded on a daily basis, 0.5%. That is until game launch, right? We know that if we look at the stages of launch, we're on stage, I think we're waiting for stage number 6 to come up. We're about halfway there. So there's a hell of a lot of time. Even if you just wanted to auto compound MAFIA at the moment right now, you can auto compound at 0.5% every day. All you have to do, create a character, join a family. That money gets staked. Once it's staked, you are, like I say, you're earning this auto compounding number. At the end of that, so when the game goes live, you will literally get all of your MAFIA back plus that MAFIA yield. Then it's really up to you what you decide to do with it. If you want to restake it again and carry on with the game. So there's many different ways you can earn money right now, even just playing this without the game being live. Really, the most I think the easiest and fastest and probably most lucrative way at the moment really is the marketplace. Okay, so people are buying these crates. They're $20. I think at the moment, I will just have a look. I will see. So at the moment right now, so on Pulse chain, the cost of one of these keys is 430,000 Pulse. Right, so it's really just a few quid. So I can see a question there. I'll get to it in a second. Okay. Sorry, Kool-Aid, you said you're back, but I don't see you. Oh yeah, here you are. Sorry. Yeah, I see you. I see you. Okay, cool. Can I hear you?
Yes, you're doing good. Like you make me proud on your streaming. You're making me proud.
Thanks. Okay, yeah. So I was just saying. Sorry, just one sec. I've just finished up here. So I was saying that if people literally just want to play the game and want to try it out, the most lucrative way to do it right now is by creating a character and purchasing these keys. Open some crates, build up an inventory, and then play around with the marketplace. I know that there are some players, I see them because I look at this every single day, multiple times a day, but I can see that some people literally are opening these crates and they're immediately bulk selling everything on the marketplace. We have some players that are doing that, and you know what? plus minus, you know, if you get a lower listed item, you might not sell it, you might not get that $20 back, but if you sell some of these bigger items, you know, you make a 10x quite easily. So even without being in a family, you can still make money playing this game. But we know for the long term, being in a family, having a decent position, a decent inventory, a decent player self-worth, you know, a player's worth, that is how you're going to make probably the most amount of money in this game as it starts to progress. Okay, the vault payouts are really where it's at. I think that's what everyone's going after. So in the long term, yes, it absolutely makes sense to join a family, but we'll wait and see. So one last thing, when you stake a Mafia now, I know the family receives, does the player also receive yield back? Yes, you as the player. So if you join a family and you decide to stake your Mafia, let's say you stake 1 million Mafia, that 1 million Mafia is yours. Okay, obviously it boosts the family rank, the family bank, and that will auto compound. But when the game goes live and you get your Mafia on stakes, you get your million back plus your yield. So it goes to you. So staking in a family, it helps you individually, it helps the family to boost up their value too. So there's benefits across the whole board. It's not just, you know, you're not sacrificing anything really when you join a family. You're helping to boost yourself and you're helping to boost the family. If you join one of the families that give out good money, vault payouts, like we've seen some of them, I think 50% goes directly to all the members in the family according to their worth. If you're one of those players, you're making money straight off the bat. So
right. And one thing, just to not correct, but like just to refine, when you're staking your Mafia, you're getting in-game money. You're not actually getting more Mafia, right? Because there's a finite amount of Mafia that's available, which is 1 billion. Yeah. But that Mafia that is staked is returned. Now, there was talk about it being laddered out, I believe I read somewhere. But like, again, this is early access. You can't crit what starts at the beginning of the game to what happens at the end of the game. It never works that way when you're building a game. So like, just realize that the Mafia that you have staked is safe. It is the in-game way to inject your currency into a lower tier economy of the game that technically doesn't matter about what the token does. Token could go to the moon. Mafia still is injected to the game the same. Token could be dumped and go to the taxman. Token or in-game economy still maintains the same. That's what's beautiful about that, is because it's building a 2-tiered type ecosystem that keeps you out of a 5-minute chart. And the one thing I forgot to bring up is that you can always buy a key with Pulse. What does that do? It goes in the vault. That's fascinating, right? And so like when I was saying like there's not any on the market, well, there's something to buy right with Pulse. And that immediately gives you your key. So yeah, just to redefine on what I was talking about right now, keys, it says in the wiki, are $20. So whatever $20 per Pulse is per right now,
430K.
Yeah. So like that can be immediately purchased on market on spot, right? It's a spot purchase, and that spot purchase goes where? Directly into the vault. And probably also dividends into the dev team and all the rest of it, because believe me, it costs a lot of money for people like me to do this type of stuff, and they should actually be paid for once.
It's for key payments is 50-50. 50 for the vault, 50 to team.
Sure, yeah. But that's fine, because that's where the wherewithal is on taking the risk on, let's call it, gambling's the wrong term. It's a game of chance on a game of chance on a game of chance. That's what is being done right now. Gambling is a dirty word for what it's actually doing. It's a game of chance. Speeding is a game of chance, right? Like, you know, going 6 miles an hour over 5 miles an hour for you kilometer people, whatever it is. But like, you know, it's a game of chance on what you're doing to bend the rules to your favor. And that is fascinating to see itemized on what is going on.
Yeah, there's really a lot going on. I just want to touch. Stephen just said there. A lot of people, haven't got money at the moment. Could we do cheaper crates, say 10 or bulk buy discount? No, it's not really going to work that way. I think
no need for that. There's no need for
exactly.
That, because
I think everything is
Well, no, what you could do is you can play the game, make some crimes, heist some cars, sell some cars, get some in-game currency, sell that on the market, sell that from Mafia, trade that Mafia, because I'm sure you're eventually going to also be able to buy keys with Mafia, considering Mafia or keys have Mafia in them. Early access, guys. Seriously, pay attention to what I say with this. Early access, it's fine. It's good. So, yeah, you can do some crimes, some heists, rob a kindergarten, and then from there, have some in-game currency that you can go buy some keys and roll the dice.
Yeah, or, there's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, no, of course. It's a multi-threaded system. That's what's important to understand. When people think about one-track minds and one-track eyes, they're not thinking about so many ways things compound. I can't stand the word game theory, but I use the term accordion game theory. And that's where you take multiple systemically designed systems and stack them on top of each other, just like a gear, to build those teeth that you need to actually turn the system along. That is fantastic, and it's good. And ideally, that's what you want to do to make that use case better for the entire ecosystem. And so, like, having a cheaper key means that you have cheaper outputs, not cheaper inputs. But it means you can get there by playing the game. And if you're a low-cast character, you know, Gearheads ain't gonna shoot you down just from being a random human. You know, the syndicate ain't gonna do that either, right? You know what I mean? Like, we have values that we're putting into the game to make it longevity and to make it evergreen. And those type of values will be transparent and transpondent into how the game actually works together. So those are important idioms to understand as you're thinking about what you can do. And again, if you're going to be a more high value player, you have more high value stakes and you have more high value problems that you got to deal with. But if you're, it's not a bad term, a low value player, but let's just call it a newbie. If you're a newbie, there really isn't much need for you to worry about stuff unless you're just dealing with some rogue person that's going PvP in the streets. And I know in Gearhead land, if we find some rogue people just randomly killing noobs, I'm going to come out there and find them. I don't like that. And so, like, that's really the inherent difference, is that each city will have a Mad Max or a pedigree of ideals that you can play in, right? Who knows where, I don't know, Detroit, if that's going to be the Renegade Mad Max, where it's just the PvP area where everyone just gets kill or be killed. But if it's a primary city that has a family, I guess we're going to have to regulate that shit, right? So if there's someone running around being silly, guess who has a detective agency? Guess who can come find you? Guess who can track you down? Yeah, needle in the haystack, you can run. But then you become our prey. You become our training day. You become our ability to go set the record straight that you don't fuck around in a particular city, right? To quote Tuco, nobody sells crystal in the South Valley but me, bitch. Yeah. And so, like, that's really the difference, is that cities will have a particular MO on what you can do. Just like I insinuated with trade routes, with smuggling, with crimes, with prestige. All of those will be eventually itemized based on how the game is played and how the families mitigate their tiles. And so, like, let's just say tiles can be upgraded, right? So let's just say you start off and your city is the hood, but you gentrify it up that now it's Beverly Hills. Well, those crimes and heists will be a hell of a lot more higher value. But guess what? There's going to be witnesses. It's going to be harder to actually get away. So then you got to be thinking about what's your exit strategy. Do you have a garage you can hide in? How are you going to chop up that car? How are you going to do all these other things? Now, who knows if the game's going to do this? But me, for game dev mind, I think about this. And I think it's feasibly possible with an expansion as well. On how, if it's not done today, can it be done next year, next week, next month? Goddamn right it can. Because when you're building nimble, you can pivot. And that is so important if you're going to be playing in this arena of air quote make and game in the same sentence.
Yeah, but I mean, given the longevity of this game, or, you know, the plans that Jacob has for this, I mean, look, we haven't even seen the game launch yet. everything could change in this, you
It
know.
should.
Absolutely everything, you know. It's really, it's that's what I love about the fact. I love the fact that it's fluid enough that everything can change.
Sure.
If something isn't working, you know, literally, okay, change it. If you know, if it's a thing, again, community feedback. Jacob and team, they love feedback because it's what helps the project get better. I always say there's no such thing as a bad idea. Okay, well, bring an idea to the table and it can be discussed. You know, it can absolutely be discussed. And if if it has enough merit, and you know, if enough people really want it, because eventually, you know, it's if Jacob brings it to the team, if they like it, okay, it brings a community. Is it something the community want, or the families want, or the individual players want? Then yes, put into play and let's move with it. And that's something which has to happen for this game to really have the longevity that we're all talking about. It's something that absolutely has to happen, and it's one of the things I like the most about this project. It's going to grow. Let's see what direction it goes. Let's see if it really does bring, you know, the attention to Pulse Chain as we want. You know, let's see if the Binance Smart Chain version of it, you know, starts to bring eyes over this direction, or vice versa.
Can I put it in something real quick?
Sure.
Those of us that are actually OG Hexkins that were fighting about a T-share on Pulse Chain versus a T-share on Ethereum, does the code not work the same? Does that idiom of both of those not bind together and work the same? So for those that are complaining about the BNB side of it, can I not redirect you on how a T-share works? And does a T-share not work the same on both chains? And so if you can be, you know, an RH enthusiast or idealist, that's the term I like to use. I don't like maximalism. Maximalism and tribalism are bad. Idealistic person learns from this stone soup that they're creating. If you can understand that a ET share and a PT share work intrinsically the same, regardless of what price they are, especially when one rocket ships up and someone can look at another cheaper value to be like, I know what that fucking does. Why are you being so critical about the BNB Mafia price right now, when it's literally the exact same game being rolled out in early access and has more eyes that aren't hexagons? BNB Mafia technically has a more greater grasp to a lion's share more that are not Richard Hart idealists than BNB Mafia, right? So it's all about perspective. And a lot of people aren't cultured in, culture's a bad word, they're not experienced in looking into the future on how perspective can work between two different types of diamonds. They all come from coal. And then what is their use case, right? You know, diamonds aren't actually a precious stone. Emeralds, rubies, sapphires, those are precious stones. Diamonds was created by De Beers. They created the whole synopsis that you're not a man if you're not creating a diamond. They created the idiom for that view frustrum for a diamond to be used besides cutting shit, because clearly a diamond can cut some hard ass shit because it's hard ass rock, but it's not a precious stone. And so when you're looking at the price in between Pulse Mafia and BNB Mafia, you have to look at both of those playgrounds as being upgraded and binded at the exact same time, and their use case being moved together between both of those two things. Like, it's just important things for people to reference and recommend as they're looking at this early access. Go to full ship, right? Ship it. That's what we do. We ship it, but we're not there yet. And to not understand that, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that, because at the end of the day, the reason I think that the Pulse side is taking a bit of a not front place, you know, I guess it is. I guess it's front and center. It's because we just have the most people talking about it.
Well,
that's
not
all.
just that.
At the moment.
I mean, Jacob is a hexagon, a pulsican, all the
yes,
rest of that, right? You know,
we are, like, you know, we just have more eyes on this side in the community, you know, and everything I'm pushing out here is to try and send it out everywhere, because it's the same game. It's the same game. It's the same game.
Exactly.
So,
and that's again, like when you go back to like FanForge and the stuff that I'm trying to do on my end to bring GameFi, SocialFi, decentralized aspect of entertainment, game dev, audio dramas, narrators, voice actors, all of us that build entertainment to bring them into crypto for many different purposes. Jesus, that's damn important. And it just doesn't have to be chain agnostic. It could be all agnostic, because DeFi for all is what our mythos is as a Richard Hart idealist. It's all about bringing the tech to the people for a reason. Perfect storms are perfect storms for a reason. And if you see all the good intentions, even with sacrifices and all the rest of this type of stuff, the real frustrum is what gets user adoption, and what isn't better than being entertained, no matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Now, I want to remind any of you guys that are in here that are, that are from Jacob's ecosystem in general, not just because of Mafia, because Stephen, you just said there a second ago, you'd love to see this event, eventually come in line with Postpot, basically all of the different projects that Jacob has. Don't forget at any moment that Jacob loves Radix. He always has plans to bring his projects over to Radix, right? It's always it's always one of his things. So I'm saying we already know that this year we will see, the casino project will launch on another blockchain, probably Radix, right? Again, there's nothing to say that if this is successful, this won't go over there too. So this will be on 3 chains. It's really, ultimately, it's about getting all the eyes back on Pulse chain. What better way to do that than by showing people on different chains exactly what we've got and what we can do. That's why getting this right and getting it out there, and getting a finished working model, even though it's kind of already working right now, for what's out there, getting it right, getting it out.
Correct.
Like yourself, I'm here. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. So let's take what you just said in a simplified version. If I make a game and I'm under Microsoft's umbrella, does that mean that I'll probably be released on Xbox and probably released on a PC? Yeah, probably does. Now, if I make a Sony game, does that mean that I'll be released on an Xbox? Maybe not. Does that mean that Steam or Valve, right? Valve, the $10 billion gahulu that doesn't have to do anything, because they built the marketplace for it, does that mean that they'll probably have it? Possibly. That means it's available on a PC. But does that also work with Nintendo Switch? Now we're talking about multi-chain, real game comparisons, right? Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Valve on Steam on PC. Those are different idioms, but they're also correct. Now, if you have a browser-based game or a mobile-based game, and believe me, mobile games trunk anything that a PC game does, just because there's so many eyeballs, people clicking on it, right? But it doesn't mean it's AAA, right? It just means it's good enough for AA+. But this is what we're kind of setting the stage for, is understanding that we as Pulsicans, we as Richard Hart idealists, we as Hexicans, we as people that believe in our blockchain as having the ability to take over a lot of things, because we're building all of it on bedrock together. Keystones, cornerstones. We're building those Rome arches that will last into perpetuity. Do we not think that we can't expand that further? Just like Xbox, just like a PlayStation, just like a Nintendo Switch, or what's called a port? Goddamn right we can. So, you have to just take time to understand what is happening right now. And also don't rush it, because the magic is letting the journey unfold and letting people be attached to it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Well, here's an easy comparison. Why was I think I brought this up when it was either you and Jacob or one of the other ones that did. Why was Game of Thrones more popular than something like The Three Body Problem or any of the rest of that's on Netflix? It's because they release all the episodes at once, instead of taking each time to let each episode marinate, mature, have a water cooler moment, have something to talk about, having someone to oh shit, this episode's going to come out. Let's go fry some chicken wings, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Cook some food, build some popcorn, make a moment where people can converse together, to grow together, to have something to discuss at the end of the day. That's why episodic releases and component-based releases are actually very, very important, because that's where you get to see it actually grow in real time, both with the audience, the excitement, the drama, and the energy. Just like I was talking about 2 different t-shirts. When people realize that they're both the same damn thing, I just don't understand why people get kerfuffled about that. But they do, because they want to live in the moment. And that's why GameFi is important, because it gives you somewhere else to escape the moment besides being on Karen Twitter and complaining about something or crying. If you want to cry, go kill someone. Sure. Right. You know what I mean? Go challenge someone to a duel. Right. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of ways that you can actually enjoy that kind of conversation, but still build the drama of that conversation. Right. Go be the rogue John Wick. Right. Go randomly find people, tap them on the shoulder and be like, I challenge you to a duel. And have a level 10 Sam or a level 10 Frank, and nobody knows. Right. You know what I mean? You could do that and could make a name for yourself, just like Jesse James or any other hierarchy of history of people that came and were the Lone Ranger to a situation. Like, how can you create that in game? You could create notoriety in the streets, and then from there be adopted by a family. There's so many ways you can take this forward, and that's where the storytelling aspect of GameFi and SocialFi really are going to set the stage forward on how advert comes in, on how binded mechanics move in, all these other things that we still have not concreted the bedrock for. But
speaking of storytelling, yes, have you done any more videos? Do you have another video?
Actually, GIF is handling all of that. I am so damn swamped in the day job that I am just coaching him on the cinematic stuff, on how I would do a 2-shot or all the rest of that. But we are ramping up the entire production suite on how we're going to handle that stuff moving forward. But unfortunately, I am under a huge grind going into the burn, which I have to go to here in a month. And so, because I'm working on a game that's also in early access, so I've got my own deliverables. It's the same damn thing. That's why I'm talking about it as objectively and professionally as I can, because I love to see this, because it's what we're trying to do it the exact same way. But yeah, no, more videos are coming, and we're kind of trying to test out new AI generation, new use cases. I mean, I sent you that painting that I did for another friend. To be like, it wasn't bad. You know, it took me like 40 hours, 50 hours to do, but I mean, it's not AI, right? It's a handcrafted painting. But like we're working on how do we set the tone and stage for user-generated content, which is again, the next stage of this whole evolution is, how does UGC actually work? How does those notorieties of those stories be happen? That's why, again, 1 kill, 1 life is important, because that sets the stage for that particular character and that wallet's life, which I absolutely love, because now you can tell storytelling moments based on that. I quoted it on the DB Cooper quote when we did the clip. Dude jumped out of a damn plane with all this damn money. It was never found.
Never to be seen again. Yeah,
that's right. He didn't die. What he did is he escaped. That's a story right there, right? So like, how do you do that? Send a message and then escape with your character. That's also a story, right? You don't actually have to be on the death docket to actually tell your story. It's what do you do with your character's story? Like I said, the first Hex convention, treat your wallet like a character. When you do that, this is what we're doing in real time with real GameFi. You're treating your wallet like a character, and decentralized finance is wrapped around that idiom and situation.
Yeah, I think you know, with this, I think someone, I can't remember if it was a comment or someone brought it up on one of the streams that I was on. I can't remember now, but I think one of the options was, will there ever be like a retirement for this? Like, can you retire a character? Is there a certain level that you need to hit if you get there, you win the game, you get to retire. You know, which you would be taking your character out of circulation, right? Because you retired. Or actually, maybe it could be that you get retire and then come back again, come out of retirement.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, who was it? Steven, I believe, is talking about the Club Med thing. Yeah, maybe you get a Club Med. Maybe you get a reprieve. You get to a particular tier, be like, psh, I don't need to go into a safe house. I'm not being hunted. A safe house is for when you were a naughty one. Monster. Naughty boy. Very, very naughty. But like that's what a safe house is for. But if you were good and there were no qualms, right? You had no outstanding warrants, if you will.
Yeah.
You were at a particular cast of character. Yeah, I could see putting your character into timeout for like 2 months while you went on vacation. Sure. Right? You know what I mean? There's many ways to actually be able to do all those things together into a symbiotic hive relationship.
Yeah.
Just like Premium Plus is putting microtransactions, premium service models, and all the rest of that in there, as long as you weren't a particular cast of character in a house. So, for example, let's just spaceball for a minute. I'm the second in charge of the Gearheads. If I was going to go on vacation, I could nominate someone to be in my stead. But if they did fuck up during that time, I may be responsible for that. But my character and their items may be safe, but my family could not. So it depends on how you waylay all these things together. By the way, we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm training you up to like your 4-hour fucking stream, sir.
Oh man! As I told you, I think on Saturday, I think that the consensus for anyone who's watching this that doesn't know or is not on the Telegrams, I ran a poll. I had an idea to do a really long stream. I mean, like really, like a 5 or 6 hour. Put it open to everyone. Put the invite link in the Telegrams. People can come and go as they want. We can talk about everything, Jacob. We can talk about just this. We talk all the projects, everything. And I think so far, I think it was like 75% said yes. In some way, they said yes. So I thought, you know, what a great way to do it. What a great thing to do. I know Kool-Aid is up for one of these monster streams as well. So I think we're gearing up maybe for Saturday, this Saturday. I like the idea of doing that. I'll make it closer to kind of a friendly time for everyone. So maybe I wouldn't start at midnight my time, which I normally do, which is like 5 o'clock American time or 5 o'clock your time, I think. I'd probably do a little bit earlier and then just go on until like, whenever.
2 p.m., right?
Yeah,
but it would be
just do a massive one, and just get everyone in, get as many people.
Anyone that wants to fucking come on, anyone just wants to bullshit about why this is important. Like, yeah, granted, for you, you're a Jacob focused person, and believe me, I'm a Jacob focused person. But like with my career mythos, I'm this idiom and this whole ideal focused, and that's why I'm here. Is because I think this is goddamn fucking important. And it's critical to really bring Pulse Chain out of just fork code into fresh code, fresh
exactly.
idea.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, you know, yes, I'm a Jacob ecosystem like guy, but ultimately it's Pulse Chain that we want to see grow.
Which is exactly what Jacob wants.
Yeah, which is exactly what Jacob wants too. You know, we need to make Pulse Chain what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be as popular, if not more popular than Ethereum, and a hell of a lot cheaper. Obviously, if it gets to anywhere near that size, then we'll have gas issues as well, probably. But you never know. Right, that might be fixed by that time, you know.
Exactly. And that's one thing of being a sister fork is that they didn't really fix anything. They just changed the unit value. They made it cheaper, which works. That way everyone can get to work together. And Pulse Chain is literally the best place for this literal exact product. Yeah. And like I couldn't express it enough. I mean, shit, you can sign a signature and chat in the chat room. It doesn't require you to sign a block. There's other things that this stuff is bloody fascinating, and tip of the hat to Jacob and his team and all the rest of the people that are working hard behind the scenes. Whether you're a family, whether you're, cult up here, all the people working behind the scenes. This is how we win. This is how we get to work. That's important. So yeah, Saturday. Let's figure out a time to start early, and then all running into the ground. Let's get everybody to come on, and let's go rate some streams. Let's actually try to get Corey and possibly some other people that we were talking about trying to get to all come in and have a banter on what actually engages you more: a story, yield, knowledge, or all of the above. That actually is the answer, is all of the above. Because when you get yield or money, you pay attention. When you get a story, you pay attention. When you're building on top of it, now you're the difference between a commenter, a player, and a creator. And that's really the difference. We want to get more people to not worry about what a small wallet is and a small game is and all the rest. Just come play, man. Like, if you're in Vegas or any of the gearhead stuff and people be fucking with you, you let me know. I'll go handle them. The syndicate, I think, will be around the same. Like, we don't want garbage people in our cities. And, you know, there may be Mad Max-esque places that you can go run the Thunderdome, if that's kind of your gambit, right? It's going to be interesting to see. And that's
going to be really interesting to see.
It's fascinating, my friend. It's fascinating to me. Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that idea. For anyone as well that doesn't know, it will be announced soon, but we'll be on with Corey on his own stream, on his own channel on Monday. That's coming too. That will be announced as well shortly. So, Costa. I'm still waiting for Gary.
Yeah, let me know and I'll be there.
Yeah, perfect. So we can do that. Hey, yeah, I think we can probably wrap this up now. You go and get some sleep, right? Because
I've got stand up in 5.5 hours, 4.5 hours. I still got 2 more rocks to make. Game dev never ends. But hey, dude, brother, it's always good to break bread with you because I can't tell you how important this is to me intrinsically. Like, my entire career is about building something within this lane that we can bring game devs together, crypto people together. We can build the future archetype. If you want to live in the future, you have to create it. And yeah, again, tip of the hat to you. Everything's going great. Tip of the hat to Jacob and his team. Tip of the hat to all the families coming in, kicking ass, taking names. I'm really proud of Max Payne's video editing that he's working on. Everyone's pulling the rank and file. And really think about where this is going to be in 6 months. Like, if you can't understand where this wiki is going to be in 6 weeks, think about where this game is going to be in 6 months. You're going to be very surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking about where the price of Pulse is going to be in 6 months.
Oh, that's a different dynamic. So Saturday, we're going to do a banger. Monday, we're going to be on with Corey Costa. My dear.
And there's a bunch more. There's a bunch more as well. You know, I don't want to be put in a position where I'm literally streaming every day just because for the sake of streaming. Because I don't want to, you know, I know that we have a lot of content that we can talk about, a lot of things we can discuss, but I'm very conscious of, you know, just you know, recycled, you know, okay, let's go and have a look at the marketplace again. You know, let's go and have a look at the vault again.
Let's find some good people from the community and us have a chit chat because I usually know most of them. So let's talk about why this is important. In Hexakin and Pulsakin community, we don't tell you what to buy. We teach you why. That is bloody damn important. So if you are on stream, I'll be there. I'm always here to help you out.
Perfect. Good, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Hey, guys, so thanks very much for listening in. If you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If it's a thing that you like what we do here, I mean, ultimately, I'm here to try and elevate the game for everybody. You know, do this. Look, you see the banner. Consider liking, subscribing. If you feel like donating to the channel, you're more than welcome. Pulse domain. If you don't have your own Pulse domain, get one. Get a Pulse domain anyway. You know, right now they're cheap enough. You know, it's a fantastic way that you can get your name out there. Help out with a bit of branding, really, for yourself, for Pulse Chain in general. Mine is KvltDeFi.pls.fyi. Click on that. It's almost like your own domain, really. You can click on there. You can see a little profile. And if it's a thing you want to donate, you're more than happy to donate. By donating, you're allowing me more time to do this. You're allowing me better infrastructure, better, you know, the whole lot, really, just to keep things going as we go. But in the meantime, Follow us on Twitter. I will put this up here one last time because some of you might not know. T.me/postmafia, T.me/BNB Mafia game, right? Get in there, have a chat with the guys, create your character, talk to families, join a family if you want. Don't join a family if you don't want to. Literally, you can do anything you want, you know. People are making money on this marketplace already. You can do that too. So really, I just want to say thanks very much. If you like streaming at this time, again, reach out, let me know. I want to be streaming at all different times because I want to try and get everyone together, to talk. I know that a hell of a lot of people only see my streams and the replay instead of, you know, jumping in on the chat. So, hey, let me know and we'll go from there. All right. I'm going to let you guys all go. So I'm going to end this stream. Good luck.